2021 was a year of change in the Disney parks. On the one hand, a lot of things reopened that we'd been missing since the 2020 closure. And we also gained a lot of new experiences, especially around that historical 50th anniversary celebration. But with these openings and reopenings also came closures and lots of losses that will continue to impact Disney as it rolls its way into the new year. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. I'm here to talk about all the things we've lost in Disney World this year. Don't worry, I'm not going to bum you out here. Think of this as a walk down memory lane that'll help you as you continue planning for your 2022 vacation. Let's get started. First up, of course, we've got to talk about Magical Express. At the beginning of this year, we learned that Disney's Magical Express will no longer be available for guests starting January 1st, 2022. Disney's Magical Express was Disney World's complimentary shuttle service to and from the Orlando International Airport. The shuttle drops you off at your resort and picks you up on your departure day, but that's all coming to an end. In its place, the Mears Connect bus service will be toting guests from the airport and to their respective hotels. So what did we lose here? Well, we lost the complimentary part of the transportation service. Pricing depends on which service you decide to book, the standard service or the express service. The standard is listed on the Mears Connect website as a shared service with monitored wait times and limited stops, while the express service has limited wait times and direct service. So what you get with the shared service, the standard service, is basically the same thing as Magical Express, except now you have to pay for it. The express service might be a little bit more time efficient. Now, a one-way trip on the Mears Connect is $16 per adult and $13.50 per child, whereas a round trip costs $32 per adult and $27 per child. If you want that premium express service, however, pricing is bundled at a $200 round trip service for up to 4 passengers. Each additional passenger is an extra $55. Although Mears Connect states that they don't have any surge prices that you have to worry about, meaning prices that could potentially spike when demand is high, they do know that the prices currently listed on their website are introductory prices, so those may change after a certain amount of time. If you're going to Disney World in 2022 and taking a plane into Orlando International Airport, do the math and see if you want to book a spot on the Mears Connect at mearsconnect.com once you get those flight details and Disney hotel details all figured out. You can also still book a rideshare service like Uber or Lyft or take a taxi cab if you prefer, but you will experience price surges with a rideshare, so figure out when you're going and if you want to take your chances on a rideshare service being a cheaper option while you're in the Orlando area. And as always, you can always rent a car too at the Orlando International Airport. Okay, next we're going to talk about Primeval Whirl. Whether you loved this Dinoland USA Wild Mouse coaster in Disney's Animal Kingdom or hated it, the poor time traveling thrill ride has officially been demolished. The closure was announced back in 2020, but the construction walls didn't go up until around September of 2021. At the beginning of November, the ride was officially no more. A lot of you weighed in on what you hope happens to this newfound free space. Some of you suggested a new ride to replace what was lost, like an Indiana Jones coaster or a good dinosaur-themed dark ride for kids. Others mentioned that it'd be nice to have a nice signature restaurant here, but you got Tiffin's right next door, so not sure why we need another signature restaurant, but hey, I'm not gonna sneeze at more fancy restaurants. At the end of the day, however, Disney has yet to announce what this empty space is going to become. We'll keep you in the loop as soon as we know. Next on our list of things we've lost in Disney World, Happily Ever After. The 2017 to 2021 Magic Kingdom Nighttime Spectacular reached out and found its Happily Ever After for the last time on September 29th after its solid 4-year run. Now, lots of us were aware that Happily Ever After would at least be going away during the 50th anniversary celebration to make way for Disney Enchantment. But toward the end of July, Disney announced that Happily Ever After would not be returning after the 18-month-long celebration's conclusion. To some, Disney Enchantment is a worthy replacement. It features goosebump-inducing music, stellar firework displays, and projection mapping technology that stretches all the way down Main Street, USA. It also plays tribute to a lot of the newer Disney films like Soul and Raya and the Last Dragon and Onward. But to others, Happily Ever After is dearly missed, especially by guests who got chills every time they saw the tangled lanterns float across Cinderella Castle, or who cheered Captain Jack Sparrow on as he and his fellow shipmates caused chaos mid-show. Whatever side of the spectrum you're on when it comes to this debate, it was a relief to see the fireworks return to Disney in general. This year, after their long hiatus post-closure, July 1st was the first time we got to see a fireworks show in the Magic Kingdom in over a year. And yes, some of us here at DFB did cry. It's fine. It's fine. Number 4 on our list, annual passes. Hopefully you weren't thinking about surprising that special someone with a Disney World annual pass this holiday season if you're an out-of-state resident. Since park capacity had been filling up quickly for Disney's Christmas season, and for other reasons that they have not stated, Disney had to put their annual pass purchases on pause. The only annual passes available to purchase at this time, as of the release of this video, are the Disney Pixie passes, which are only available for Florida residents. The other 3 pass options, including the Pirate, Sorcerer, and Incredipass, are currently not for sale. But don't panic, these passes are temporarily unavailable according to Disney, and you should be able to purchase them again maybe once all the holiday stuff is over. We really don't know, but you know where to find out. Join our newsletter. We will let you know ASAP as soon as those annual passes come back for sale. But if you're a current pass holder, you can still renew any of the 4 pass options, regardless of the suspension of new annual pass purchases. Next on our list of things we've lost this year is maybe the scariest, Ohana Noodles. Now, don't worry, there's a happy ending to this one, but it did impact our lives and all-around happiness a few times this year. Since the 2020 park reopenings, Disney World has experienced a lot of changes, and the Ohana Noodles over at Ohana in Disney's Polynesian Village Resort were not immune to those changes. For a short while in November, we noticed that the Ohana Noodles were no longer available at the Tambu Lounge. Now, fortunately, they were still being served at Ohana, but sometimes you don't want to pay for an entire meal for that savory noodly goodness, and Tambu Lounge was the shortcut we needed. There is a happy ending, like I said. The Ohana Noodles returned to Tambu Lounge after a few precarious days, and we were able to get our fix once more. And after all, this isn't the first noodle apocalypse we've experienced. There was an even more important noodle apocalypse this year when Disney attempted to replace the noodles with fried rice. Now, they've done this a couple of times. They first tried in January 2019 and actually served the fried rice for a few days in a row before switching back to the Ohana Noodles. Turns out we weren't the only ones frustrated by the change, and there was an outcry demanding Disney to stop keeping the noodles hostage just to save a quick buck. Disney listened to the fans and returned the noodles to the menu. But Disney tried to do this little switcheroo again when they reopened Ohana after its 2020 closure. Fans noticed that once more the updated menu choices featured fried rice instead of those sweet, sweet noodles. Again, fried rice, you're great, but please read the room. So our Disney noodle lovers went to the internet just like before and let their concerns be known. It wasn't long before Disney returned the noodles to the menu, giving us this strange sense of deja vu. So what can you take away from this? Disney World menus change regularly, and that doesn't just go for the Ohana noodle crises. All Disney World restaurants have menus subject to change, so keep checking before your trip to make sure the meal you're looking for is still available. You can check on the Disney website, or you can check back here with us. We'll let you know any and all menu changes every single week. Next on our list is the POG Juice. Yeah, let's talk about POG here real quick because it's been a doozy for us this year. POG, which is a staple drink in the Disney bubble that stands for passion fruit, orange, and guava juice, was impacted by all the shortages that Disney's been experiencing this year. We kind of lost the POG we all knew and loved even before the shortages started taking place, and that's when POG's supplier switched. Before, the Disney supplier of POG juice was Minute Maid Coca-Cola, but after the switch, POG was adopted by Nestle. Ever since the switch, POG hasn't really been the same. It's a little sweeter, which maybe wasn't a problem for most guests, but I don't know, we're POG purists around here. But after a few short months of the extra sweet variety, the original Coca-Cola Minute Maid version actually returned. You'll find POG Juice all over Disney World, though it goes by many names. Whether you're drinking POG Juice, Lilikoi Juice, or Jungle Juice, it's back to the OG once again. Number 7 on our list of things we've lost in Disney World this year, the wave of American flavors. This is a restaurant at Disney's Contemporary Resort, and it may have had one of the best under-the-radar breakfasts with those sweet potato pancakes and made-to-order omelets, all for one low price. But the dated decor and less-than-stellar dinner menu was screaming for a refurb. Well, the wave officially closed in July of 2021 to make way for something new, Steakhouse 71. This new restaurant ditched that 1970s car dealership vibe for some more upscale but still nostalgic, in a good way, decor. The breakfast menu is still a pretty solid option for dishes that won't break the bank. Most entrees are around $14 to $15, and seasonal pancakes may mean you can still try those sweet potato pancakes we love so much. We keep begging the chefs to bring them back. Lunch and dinner feature, unsurprisingly, steak. You'll also find crab cakes, grilled cheese, and some other fish dishes to round out the menu. Is it the best steakhouse you've ever been to? No, but you can get cuts that won't set you back $60, and it's only a 5-minute walk to Magic Kingdom. So far, reservations have been real popular, so if you're thinking about going, you'll want to prioritize getting a reservation here or go to the lounge. The lounge has their incredible Steakhouse 71 burger all day long on the menu. It is phenomenal, and definitely try the mac and cheese. Number 8 on our list, Fast Pass. There's practically no way you've missed this one unless you've skipped out on a whole year of Disney Parks news. When the parks closed back in March 2020, we said goodbye to Fast Pass without even realizing it. Disney kept saying it would return, but in August of 2021, we finally learned that Fast Pass, the free way to skip standby lines for rides, was gone for good and would be replaced by a new paid option. Disney Genie and Disney Genie Plus officially launched on October 19th in Disney World, followed by a December 8th launch in Disneyland. Disney Genie Plus is the new version of Fast Pass, but it's a paid upgrade feature that costs $15 per person per day and only grants access to faster than standby lines at some rides. In addition to that $15 per day charge, there's also a small group of rides that can only be purchased individually for charges that range from $7 to $15 per person. These are rides like Rise of the Resistance and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. These are the most popular rides in Disney World. We have loads of videos on Disney Genie and Disney Genie Plus, so you can get a crash course and everything you need to know before your next trip to decide whether or not it's really worth it for you to buy this extra. And how many days you should buy it, by the way. You don't have to buy it for every day. You can just buy it for the days you need it. A lot of folks are obviously not thrilled to be paying for something that was a free offering just a few years ago. But once the initial sting has passed, we're getting used to the new system. The good news is there are a lot of instances where you won't need to purchase Disney Genie Plus, but there are also a decent amount of situations where buying it will make your day a whole lot easier. Disney also launched a free itinerary building system. This is the Genie Sans Plus that tracks wait times and recommends which rides you should go to next in order to experience shorter waits. All of it is right inside the My Disney Experience app, so you can check it out, play around with the new features, and decide just how much or how little you want to use or spend on this FastPass replacement. Number 9 is EPCOT Forever. EPCOT also said goodbye to a fireworks show this year. EPCOT Forever, the ironically temporary show that was in place after the long-running Illuminations ended back in 2019, had its last show on September 28th. EPCOT Forever was a short, nostalgic lineup of songs 80s Epcot kids will fondly remember, plus jet skis and kites and a small fireworks display. Yep, this show is likely why we now have kite tails in Animal Kingdom. Gotta do something with those kite-toting jet skis. EPCOT Forever was barely around long enough for anyone to have strong connection with the show, and we knew it would be temporary anyway. With EPCOT Forever ending, we now have Harmonious, which is a show that's been in preparation for years. They actually had to do underwater construction and stuff for this one. Harmonious debuted just before Disney World's 50th anniversary and makes use of those massive barges sitting out in World Showcase Lagoon. Let us know how you feel about those. This is a show you'll really want to stake out a spot for, as your view of those barges is a make or break experience. The absolute best spot is right at the front of World Showcase between those two stores with Spaceship Earth smack center behind you. But you'll find some other great views around the World Showcase. Just avoid trees and a spot where you can't see the barges at all, or the spots where you only see the sides of the barges. That's how it is. Number 10 on our list, boarding passes for Rise of the Resistance. Okay, these may come back, we don't know, but Rise of the Resistance did away with boarding passes this year, and that might seem like it made riding this uber popular ride all the easier, but now it's just a different kind of difficult. Back in September, Disney got rid of those boarding passes, which was the virtual queue system for Rise of the Resistance, meaning we no longer have to get up at 7 a.m. to grab a spot in line via our phones, but you might still have to get up at 7 a.m. or earlier if you want to actually grab a spot in line still. Rise of the Resistance uses a regular old standby line now with waits that often top out over 2 hours. The good news, you can hop in line whenever you want and you don't need to plan ahead. The bad news, you're going to wait a long time in that line. If you are truly line averse, you can always spend $15 per person for Rise of the Resistance with Disney Genie's individual attraction selection. At least you got options. But that's going to be that 7 a.m. one. You got to get up at 7 to book that Rise of the Resistance on Disney Genie. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure in Epcot is still using boarding passes and not using a standby line, so there's still one ride you need to plan ahead in order to ride. Number 11, Finding Nemo, the musical. Yep, theater shows have slowly started to return to Disney World. Indiana Jones' Epic Stunt Spectacular just reopened as of last week, but there are a few we're still waiting on, namely Finding Nemo over in Animal Kingdom. When this show does return sometime in 2022, it's going to be a little bit different. Finding Nemo, Big Blue, and Beyond will take place during Finding Dory, making it basically a sequel to the original theater show that opened in 2007. Word is that the show will be a bit shorter than the original. Great news for those of us who don't want to devote our time in Animal Kingdom to a 45-minute show. And it won't be just a retelling of the movie, but rather a whole new storyline that will still include some of the songs from the original show. The puppets are sticking around, so the general vibe of the show should remain the same. We should know more as we get into the new year. Number 12 on our list, the NBA experience. Oh, yes, the NBA experience. What bad timing. I'll admit, I'm not the biggest basketball fan, but it seems like basketball fans and non-basketball fans alike were questioning this interactive experience in Disney Springs. Stepping into the shoes of Disney Quest, the ultimate interactive arcade experience, is not an easy task, but it seems the dribbling drills and a virtual draft experience were not quite the slam dunk that Disney expected. The NBA experience had a very short run. It had only just opened in 2019, then the pandemic closures hit and it never reopened. Disney announced in August that it was gone for good, and in its short 7 months of existence, we saw frequent ticket deals and specials to try to entice people to come in, but nothing really stuck. We're not sure what may replace the NBA experience or if Disney even has any ideas for what might take up residence in Disney Springs next. Nah, I'm sure they have ideas. Number 13, Masks Outdoors. Following Disney World's mask guidelines has been a roller coaster in 2020 and 2021. With recommendations from health experts and local case numbers changing constantly, Disney had to make several adjustments to policies in the theme parks. Way back in April, we saw the first signs that mask wearing would be shifting in the parks when guests were allowed to briefly remove their masks to take photos while outdoors. Then by May, masks were optional in nearly all outdoor areas. In June, masks were no longer required in indoor locations, a policy that was quickly reversed the following month as cases in Orange County, Florida began to spike. But by August, mask policies were relaxed a little bit again. Guests were no longer required to wear masks in outdoor lines and on outdoor rides. Currently, everyone ages 2 and up must wear a mask when indoors, including on the Skyliner, buses, and monorail, regardless of vaccination status. You can keep up to date on all the health and safety policies in place at Disney World by following along with us here at DFB Guide and by signing up for our newsletter. The link to sign up is right in the description below this video. While mask policies continue to evolve, social distancing has more or less ended in Disney World. If you're headed to Disney World, expect the normal crowds and close proximity to others. Kind of wish this one had stuck around a bit longer, even if it's not a safety precaution, right? Number 14, those free MagicBands are gone. We've nearly gone a whole year now without complimentary MagicBands. Hope you had your stockpile ready. Starting on January 1st, Disney stopped offering free MagicBands to hotel guests. Instead, we all need to pay to get those wearables that work as your room key and park ticket. Come August, annual pass holders also started having to pay for new MagicBands. Your basic solid colors will run about $10, while limited edition designs can be $25+. If you're a pass holder or you're staying at a Disney World hotel, you will get a discount on MagicBands, and you can always keep using ones from previous trips. MagicBands operate on short-range and long-range RFID tech. That short-range stuff is used for physical contact activations like tapping into the park or your hotel room. Long-range is used for linking ride photos to your account via your MagicBand. Eventually, after about 2 to 3 years, the little battery in your MagicBand will stop working, which means you'll lose long-range capabilities, but short-range will work just fine. Number 15 on our list, Impromptu Dining. Let me preface this section by saying, yes, the walk-up waitlist feature that lets you join a restaurant waitlist via your phone was introduced in 2020 and made impromptu dining a little easier in some instances. This is kind of like how Rise of the Resistance doing away with boarding passes made it, quote, easier, unquote. It just changed what was hard about it. Walk-up waitlist has made it so those walk-up tables go real fast. It's so hard to get a seat at Nomad Lounge now because you can just get your spot in the app instead of walking over there. You're going to need to know at least a little bit in advance if you want to dine somewhere. The days of walking up to a restaurant or lounge and sitting right down are mostly gone unless you pick a spot that isn't using walk-up waitlist or standard dining reservations or just nobody likes. Now, walk-up waitlist aside, there are 2 places that completely lost their last-minute dining options, Space 220 and California Grill. Space 220 opened with a lounge that you could stroll on up to and grab a last-minute spot, but now you need to reserve that seat just like you'd reserve a regular seat in the rest of the restaurant. Reservations open 60 days in advance, and they go fast. And California Grill has switched to a 50th anniversary prix-fixe menu and done away with their lounge seating for the time being. Here, you can still grab a seat at the literal bar, but there are significantly fewer seats, and not everyone wants to sit at the bar. With the park pass reservations and limited park hopping hours still in place, impromptu anything is becoming a thing of the past in Disney World. Planning is king, and that's why you're here at DFB Guide. Good for you. So what's the moral of the story here? Well, lots of changes are happening in Disney World. Things are paradigm shifting around here, and it is hard to keep up with. It is hard to figure out what's actually happening when you're going on your trip. So definitely stay tuned here to DFB Guide. Stay tuned to DisneyFoodblog.com. We are buried in this stuff all day, and we are going to keep you updated. We're going to keep you knowledgeable. You're going to know every time one little tiny thing changes so that your trip can be the best it can possibly be. So we got your back. If you're concerned about all those changes that are happening or that have already happened in Disney World, stick with us. This channel, as well as our website, newsletter, super shiny new DFB Guide to Walt Disney World Dining 2022, those are going to provide you with the info on all things Disney change, so you can plan ahead and brace yourself for the wonderful whirlwind of Disney reimaginings. Don't forget, in 2022, we've got a bunch of new rides, we've got new restaurants, we've got lots coming. So even though we've lost these 15 things, there's a lot coming in 2022 that we're going to gain. All right, thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.